Hello everybody and welcome back to today's video. I'm here to give you a new video on narcissism. How about that? Today I just wanted to talk to you about energy, y'all. So let's jump in. So energy, empathic energy is an amazing thing. It's something a lot of people don't have out here because there's so many fake individuals that are having to wear the mask, because if they don't wear the mask, they don't know what to do. And they really can't take it off in a lot of cases when you're talking about these individuals we've dealt with. They're just, at some point, like I said, it's a contract or a covenant for them. Just like it is for us to stay free in our authenticity, it's also a contract. See, we get to choose. And a lot of people that made covenants to be bound to dark energy and to live a certain kind of way, some people are bound to other people. So you should thank the Lord that you're not one of those individuals, because it's one thing to be bound to a narcissist, but could you imagine a narcissist being bound to a psychopath? Could you see like a borderline possibly, or a maybe avoidant personality being bound because they did like a spell work or something, and being bound to an antisocial, and you can't do anything about it because they did spell contracts? And it's one thing to be bound for a time, to feel like you're bound to somebody like a narcissist when you're an empath, but I could only imagine the hell that a home must be like when, say, a scenario like that would occur. Because at least we just felt bound, but we always had the door available to us. But some people get stuck in covenants that they do through spell work, and they get attached to people and bound to them, rooted to them. And I wanted to talk about energy because there's a specific part of this. There are some kind of spells. This is not a spell, it's actually witchcraft chanting. It's an incantation, I guess you would call it. But this is what I've learned from stuff that I've had to deal with. When you'll get like sometimes a group of evil, dark witches, there's these incantations they can do where they'll take the leader of the group, the witch leader, and they'll all do this incantation. What they'll do is they will be now rooted to the organization and rooted through the main leader of the organization. So they can't leave. It's like they're bound. I don't know how you would even unbind that. I know it's like, it's a strong thing. The main individual is bound to the devil. So you can't just break this thing. Now, I do believe if someone were to truly accept salvation or with the Lord's work, I do believe if somebody really truly wanted the Lord's help, and they weren't, say, a narcissist, like, let's say, I guess, an avoidant or something, I guess they could possibly get saved and come out of it. But this is how energy works. When some of these groups get together, they will do these things, and then they will regret it later because they're stuck to all this dark energy. And then you gotta feed this rooted entity that's now a part of the whole group. This is weird. And if you don't feed it, well, it'll start to feed on you. It's kind of like the narcissist. When they don't get supply, it starts to eat them up, because they're dealing with that too on a different level. But then could you imagine, like, if you're a part of a group and you're all rooted together? Because the other thing is a lot of times they'll go have intercourse with all of them. It's weird. And then that would be part of the pact. Sometimes people come with things and they get in double trouble, I guess is what you could call it. Then people start to be like, let's say these leaders, you start to find out whatever you did think they were like, they're not like at all, or they get more like a brutal dictator, a tyrant, like a tyrant. So then these individuals are rooted to them. So now everything goes to crap because you can't be blessed with anything. Freedom, finances, health, or wealth, any kind of investments, anything. Not only is money going to turn to dust, but then it's like everything is all going to be handled with anger, hatred, sabotage, and abuse. But this is what we find the narcissist is like all the time. And it's interesting because they'll be looking at you funny when you leave them. And they may come to you and say, well, why did you leave? And you'll be thinking, why did I leave? Well, I left because I wouldn't even explain anything to a narcissist because it's worthless, because they know the answer already. But sometimes I think they are a little dumbfounded, because you'll find, a lot of narcissists they're very childish. I mean, they can't, especially when they're trying to get you back for something, it is like romper room. They have nothing better to do. Their whole life is just focused on hating you just because. They have nothing, and everything around them is collapsing into dust. And they're living in like a shelter, but they still seem to just care about what you're doing because they get fixated, and in their fixations and their childish ways, it just seems like a gnat flying around. It really is like romper room. I mean, you're watching it more from the outside, so it's kind of interesting to watch. It's like looking at a bunch of kindergartners that are trying to figure out how to play together, but a bunch of angry kindergartners. They're trying to put the block in the triangle spot. They're trying to put the square block in the triangle slot, and it's not working, And then they get angry at their cohorts, and then a big fight might break out, and then they'll get angry and start yelling and screaming at each other. Maybe they're hoping to get a little bit of supply off the other, a little bit of, I don't know what it would be like. I guess it would be like getting coal at Christmas, right? If a narcissist was to give some of their supply to the other narcissist. It's definitely not no present wrapped with a bow. But if it was a present wrapped with a bow, you know what it would have in there? A piece of crap. Literally. Be like, what is that smell? But this is how they are, and they just can't seem to want to ever do anything right. I think, the major problems with a narcissist is they can never be authentic or be true about anything. They're always just another grandiose lie is coming out of their mouth. And it's hard when you're a person of just regular normal humanity, or a person that would be on the side of truth. I mean, it's hard because you have to back up your counterpart, your divine counterpart. But I mean, when you're with them, it's not divine, that's for sure. But you got to back them up. So if they're lying all the time, there's going to be times where you're going to have to like nod your head and be like, man, here we go again. Because when you're backing up a liar, then it really hurts inside when you're a truth teller and you're dating somebody like that. I mean, it usually is one of the main reasons why the relationship will end, because you can't keep doing that. That really hurts when you're a truth teller and you got to nod your head and back up some stupid lie, because this is all this person can do. And there's certain instances where you literally have to, yeah. I mean, I've done it when I was younger, mainly, because as you get older, you start a relationship out with a narcissist, maybe, if you did, when you're older, and a truth teller, and you kind of start parting ways slowly, because it's kind of like, if we're going to be together, we ain't hanging out. But then you're wondering, like, they're a compulsive pathological cheater, so what you're concerned about then is, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing when you're not with me? It's like you can't expect them to walk to the mailbox without maybe jumping in somebody's back seat with somebody, or behind the bushes. That's why you want to keep the bushes down low, because if the bushes are down low, then the narcissist can't have any supply sources hanging out in there, you know, because they like to do that. When they have a harem, they're not all in the garage, you know. Some of them are hiding behind the bushes at your house, and as soon as the narcissist gets 5 minutes, they're ready to do it just on the yard, behind a bush, behind a little tree or something. So you got to be careful when you're with a narcissist. I mean, you can't expect them to go to the store and get you know, something at the grocery store without them somehow screwing it up. So it's hard to trust a liar, really. But when you lead the narcissist, you know, there is a blueprint you can follow. And if you're keen, you can pick up on certain things that will lead you out of this. The Lord will lead you out of it. Because a narcissist is kind of, at some point, easy to figure out. Because they run on tracks and cycles. And they're usually, if they're toxic enough, they're going to be real quick tracks. They're going to have the one-nighters, the weekend people, and then, well, they always have those. But then they're going to have the people that they probably cycle with for about 3 months, and they'll be cheating, you know, on them as well. You can't think that if you're with a narcissist, you're ever going to get some sort of monogamous relationship. A narcissist, when you are with a narcissist, you have to put with that automatically promiscuous, polyamorous. That's another one, I think. But they like all the drama. They have to have all the drama all the time, or else if it's not chaotic out here all around them, then they have to create it. So all of their friends and relatives, their flying monkeys, and their love partners, because they have so many, their friend group, you can even call them, because they're not really in love. It's just a link up. It's like a link up or a cord in, or they'll put their hooks in you. So when you get a little bit far out, they'll just reel you back in, like they're fishing or something, because they got those big hooks in your back. It's crazy, y'all. And they're always going to be using you. It's like when you're with them, they will isolate you from anybody good in your life. They'll isolate you from getting anywhere in advancement. They hate you to advance, because we're not a team, we're in competition. So that's awesome. So people only get married to, or be in a long-term partner, love partner relationship to be a team. But these guys don't, they want to be in a relationship and be competing to destroy the other all the time. When you have intercourse, they're going to be siphoning off from you and siphoning into you a bunch of negative energy and projecting upon you while you're thinking you're making love or something. And then they will be thinking about how they are the prettiest goddess or god, if it's a man, and like they're in some movie and they have the best moves. But that's not what it's supposed to be about. But these are the things, and they're very mechanical because they don't have love. So it's kind of like, and their laugh would be the same, and their love would be the same weird stuff. It's weird because as you pick up and understand narcissism, you'll start to maybe hear these things, and then sometimes you'll start to see them. They'll be like sticking out like a sore thumb, and you'll be, oh my gosh, they're robotic. They are artificial intelligence. But they're really not. They're I don't know, something bio. There's something, maybe they might be made by the government. A government bot. Out of some MK Ultra program or something. Mind Control Ultra. But, you know, you can find the blueprint if you could find the blueprint, because you know that they all operate the same. And they have the same uploaded program. They all operate the same, some on a different scale, maybe a little lesser of their toxicity or more. But they'll have a million red flags from day one if you know how to pick up on them, almost from hello. They cheat all the time. They stab you in the back. They will smear you up. At every end of every cycle, they'll always tell you they've changed. They're sadistic, so they like to get off on your pain. That makes them smile. They have to have power and control over the whole relationship, and they have to have chaos, or the relationship in a chaotic state all the time. They always want you wondering, and that's where the rumination comes from. And that's also because you're with a liar. When you're with a pathological liar, and you are someone who thinks in a state of truth, and you don't live in a fantasy of lies, but the reality of truth, it's very difficult for you to think on what the heck they're thinking or doing when they're not with you, because it's always bad, because you know it's always bad because it's almost always bad when they're with you. It's almost like they can't help themselves when they're with you, to be on the phone all the time, or to be having people call them that you know is probably somebody they're cheating on you with, or to be in the bathroom with their camera, or to be in the bathroom with a camera taking nude pictures of themselves and sending them out to some other person. It's like you don't want to be with that. You want to be with somebody that you can cherish. This is like a real woman that you'd want to be with. Somebody you can cherish. Somebody that you can tell them everything, and you're going to be sure is that they're not out to hurt you. Whether things work out or don't work out, they are not going to just out the intimate stuff that you told them because you care about them and they care about you. Then if things didn't work out, you're not going to try to destroy them, and they're not going to try to destroy you. They're not going to try to isolate you, but they're going to trust you, and you're going to be trustworthy, and you're going to be able to trust them, and they're going to be trustworthy. You're going to live by truth, and they're going to live by truth. You're not going to compete with them, and they're not going to compete with you. In fact, when you elevate, they're going to be your biggest cheerleader. And when they elevate, you're going to be their biggest cheerleader. And when you do elevate, you're going to do it in a humility state. So you're not going to get arrogant or pompous with them and change your attitude. You're going to still stay humble and make them any part of it that you possibly could, and give them accolades for standing with you. Because without them in your life, it may not have happened. Because behind every good man is a real good woman, and behind every good woman is a real good man. Typically, for the ones that are in a partnership, in a relationship, in a love partner relationship, and they're trying to do righteous things in their life to help others, or to at least keep an even balance with people. You know, there's so many destructive people in this world that all they can think about when they go out to work or to school or to church or to the grocery store is, who can I wreck? Who can I destroy? Who can I defeat? Who can I have power over? Who can I get over on? Who can I project on? Who can I learn to hate today? Who knew? Who's fresh meat that I can learn to hate today, or get over on, or dupe, and do something evil to feel a little adrenaline in my blood? Hurt somebody's feelings so I can get a laugh off of it, or try to intimidate somebody so that I can feel powerful and sadistic and malignant in the things that I do, and perpetuate evil every day. What narcissists don't understand is that we all have to reap what we sow. And it is not even at the level of 1-to-1. I mean, when you reap negative harvest, it's usually worse. It's usually more than, so if you put out 10 bad deeds, you're going to reap sometimes at least 20, and that would be kind of low on the pole of how it's judged. I mean, 2-to-1, you might get judged 10-to-1, and God forbid. So it's all really something that we should be mindful of, because when this stuff hits people, it doesn't always hit them the day that they do something evil, or if anybody does it, us, them, whoever, without a title to it, it's going to come back, and it's going to come back when you don't need it. That's the thing with reaping, negative reaping, or karma, whatever you want to call it. You're going to get it back when you least expect it, and when you need the exact opposite most of the time. It's like, right now I need a blessing, and I'm getting a cursing, you know what I mean? That's how negative reaping comes at you. Because it's really there to teach you a lesson. And the lesson is to be taught. A lot of times we can all be stiff-necked and hard-headed. And the Lord, the Almighty talked about that in the Old Testament a lot, because he was trying to lead them. And he would talk about how stiff-necked that, his chosen people could be. So we all have the ability to temper like that. But at the end of the day, we really want to help individuals out and live by some sort of righteousness so that we can perpetuate goodness. Because goodness is how you get full in here and in here. A lot of people want therapy to get better, and I think there's no greater therapy than helping individuals or spreading the gospel, because it is therapy, and it is something that should be a staple in our life. It should be something that we do on a regular basis, maybe in small ways, but just always have an eye out. Oh, my ear is ringing. Praise God. I've been real sensitive to the spirit lately, I'll have to say. It's been pretty awesome. I've had a lot of synchronicities and things happening around me. And I just know that I have to just put my stock in the Lord and do what I'm supposed to do. And I know that everything will be all right. And that can be very hard sometimes, because you deal with stressors or pressure or somebody trying to throw things your way, some evil, and you gotta block it or ask the Lord to send that crap back, ask the Holy Spirit to send it back, protect you, put a hedge of protection around you. There's some real warrior angelic hosts out there, and we don't work with devils, so we ask for some war angels, to protect us with their strongest armor on, and garrison a angelic hosts with their cool looking arrows. They gotta have pretty cool looking, they're probably like made of gold or something. But if we were out there, we'd have to, like, once we hit somebody with an arrow, we'd have to go get it because it's made of gold. It's worth too much. I got to go retrieve that thing. I'll be back in a minute. But it's all good, man. Energy is related to your goodness and godliness. It's nice. I feel like I've been kind of embodying the spirit of Christmas lately, It's been a really good feeling. And I've just been kind of soaking it up, I think that when you get to a healed state, you get prosperous. And things just start moving the way they're supposed to. And for the times that they're not, and you're not there to reap something negative because maybe you don't have anything else to reap. Maybe you've cleared it all out. You really paid for all of what you did bad, or that you misjudged. And you're in a state of even, or maybe you have a surplus of blessings, and that could be too. And that's when God decides to come bring you abundance. And then you become like a magnet, and the abundance just starts to come to you. It'll come to you. And if you need to move, then there will be something to show you that way. There'll be something to give you that place, that position. And it won't have to be looked at as, say, if somebody evil is trying to hurt you or trying to affect you. It's just maybe the Lord's just moving you into another position of power where you're going to be more successful and you're going to have more joy and more control over your own sovereignty, your own wealth, and your own abilities to work on your master craft dream, to perpetuate more goodness. And it takes faith to do that. But when you're seeing the Lord, when you start to walk in a certain sort of peace, you'll kind of see that everything that you want will be happening. And if the bad things come at you, they'll be fixed. And the evil people will be put down. Or they'll be taught a lesson, one or the other, depending on how stiff-necked they are, because some people will continue to retaliate and retaliate and retaliate. And you've done nothing but put out love and helping others. And they just hate you. But a lot of times it's because of what's inside them. You know, they have a lot of unhealed wounds, and then they have some sort of dark energy that they're dealing with. And that combination hates the light of God that is protruding from you. You know, people can see that. And if they can't see it themselves, you best believe that whatever entities they're dealing with or dark energy is really irritated by it. And all that they can't even control themselves. And the fact of the matter is typically the entity can't even control itself inside them, because them and the narcissist become very similar. It's like they're teamed up against you sometimes, and you just got to kind of keep moving along, not let things bother you, because that's what life is about. Life is about you being sovereign and putting out love, perpetuating love, y'all. God's love. And if you do that, you can't help but be abundant. And tribulations will come your way, but if you don't have negative reaping, if it doesn't entail negative reaping, because it's not something that you are deserving of, then it's just a test. It's a test to level you up. You know, we're talking a word about when negative people come your way and it's not deserving for you to have to deal with, that call it all blessings, because that's the Lord testing you to take you to your next level. And you want to thank them in the end, really, because when you get through the test and you pass the test, when you finally just look back about the things that you just accomplished, sometimes you have to be pushed out into the world stage, into another environment, so that you're not sitting in your hometown anymore, because your hometown will never take you serious. And Christ talked about that in the Word, in the New Testament. When he went to his hometown, they didn't take him serious. But as soon as he left the borders of his hometown, everybody else in the rest of the world took him on another level. And for you to truly advance in your dreams and your goals, a lot of times you will have to be propelled out from wherever you spent a number of years developing who you have now become. So that's my message. That's what I wanted to say the whole time. I knew the Lord had something for me to tell y'all, and it comes out in the very end. I apologize for that. You got to sit here for all of that past stuff to get here. But that's what it is. Sometimes you have to be forced out. Sometimes you have to be pushed out, and you don't want to, because you're comfortable. But Everything will be aligned for you. If you are on that path and you don't have any negative reaping to pay for, it will be just a test. And when you get where you're going to that destination, there will be a job for you, and it will be a dream come true. So thank you for watching. Have faith. And for people that don't have faith, have hope. But the greatest of these is love, and God's love at that. So if you can give me a like, subscription, a thumbs up, love y'all till next time. Soldier up, peace, we are out.